far beyond the familiar warmth of our solar system, where sunlight weakens until it becomes only a distant memory, a human-built probe continues its lonely vigil. Voyager 2, drifting through the darkness for nearly 50 years, was never designed to come back. Yet now, against all expectations, it has transmitted something that no one anticipated. A fragile signal crept through the deep space network, so faint it hovered on the edge of detectability, as if the vast emptiness between stars was trying to erase it. For days, engineers detected only fragments, uneven pulses, warped telemetry packets, broken bursts that matched neither Voyager 2's routine system checks nor the familiar patterns of its aging interstellar transmissions. When NASA finally managed to lock onto the carrier wave and reconstruct the data, the results stunned everyone involved. This was not a malfunction. It was not background noise. The signal was deliberate, structured, and entirely unlike anything Voyager 2 had ever sent before. Before we begin, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more updates. Launched in 1977, Voyager 2 has long since crossed beyond the Sun's magnetic cocoon, entering a region of space where charged particles behave in unfamiliar ways and matter becomes vanishingly sparse. Over the years, its transmissions weakened as its nuclear power source slowly decayed, yet the probe remained remarkably consistent. It spoke the same electronic language it always had, predictable, stable, faithful to code written into silicon decades ago. That is why the sudden deviation sent shockwaves through control rooms in Pasadena and Canberra. A spacecraft that has followed identical routines for nearly half a century does not abruptly alter its communication patterns without external influence. The decoded transmission contained neither English nor any known terrestrial script, nor did it resemble standard scientific telemetry. Instead, analysts identified repeating clusters that resembled a mathematical rhythm. Intensities rose and fell with precision, forming geometric relationships across the signal's bandwidth. When visualized, the data resolved into lattice-like structures that echoed topological distortions, as if Voyager 2 had recorded impressions of space that was not empty at all, but shaped by forces beyond human perception. That alone would have been astonishing, suggesting phenomena far more complex than cosmic rays or drifting dust. What unsettled researchers most, however, was not the structure itself, but the unmistakable sense of intention embedded within it. Deep inside the transmission were rhythmic sequences resembling call-and-response behavior. It appeared as though two distinct sources were present, Voyager 2 and something else that had influenced the signal, almost as if the spacecraft had been turned into a relay for an external presence. The cadence was far too ordered to be natural interference. Even the strangest plasma waves tend to produce chaotic variations, yet this signal was compressed, deliberate, and precisely arranged, as though its source understood Voyager's communication hardware. The implications grew heavier with every reconstructed frame. Voyager 2 has no capability to analyze or generate foreign signals. It was built to measure radiation, magnetic fields, solar wind, and planetary environments. It carries no software capable of producing what NASA was seeing. The only plausible conclusion was that the probe had been affected by an interaction never before documented in astrophysics. Something within interstellar space had reached out, interfaced with its systems, and used them as a medium. NASA responded cautiously. Engineers scrutinized fault protection routines, searching for even the slightest possibility that an onboard error could explain the anomaly. They examined power fluctuations from the aging radioisotope generator, radiation damage to memory banks, and the chance of cosmic rays corrupting command sequences. None fit. The signal was too extended, too coherent, and too intentional to result from any known failure mode. Astronomers compared the patterns against electromagnetic signatures recorded by ground-based observatories. Some noted faint similarities to fast radio bursts, mysterious flashes originating from distant galaxies. But Voyager's signal lacked their defining traits. It behaved less like a distant event and more like a response to the probe's presence, as though something had recognized Voyager 2 and reshaped its output accordingly. It felt less like noise and more like awareness. As additional segments were decoded, an eerie consistency emerged. The embedded geometries resembled distortions predicted by speculative models of higher dimensional physics. Some theorists suggested Voyager may have passed near a region where space-time itself was uneven. Such regions could warp electromagnetic fields into structured patterns that imitate intelligence. Yet even, these models predict symmetry and passivity. The signal contained subtle asymmetries, the kind associated with choice and decision-making. The possibility that the probe had encountered intelligence was initially dismissed as extreme. But the deeper the investigation went, the harder it became to maintain conventional explanations. The signal showed modulation signatures unmatched by any known propulsion system, communication technology, or spacecraft mechanism. One sequence shifted frequencies in precise golden ratio intervals, a structure almost exclusively linked to attempts at universal communication. Another mapped cleanly onto a repeating fractal, a hallmark of deliberate information compression. Still, nothing about the transmission resembled a greeting or message in the human sense. There were no recognizable symbols, instructions, or representations of physical objects. Instead, it felt like a demonstration, an exhibition of capability rather than a statement. Some analysts described it as a fingerprint, an imprint of presence expressed through complexity and control. Inside Mission Control, tension mounted not because the signal seemed hostile, but because it defied classification. If an intelligent presence existed in interstellar space, something Voyager 2 had encountered or attracted, it challenged every assumption about life beyond the sun's domain. Humanity had long imagined extraterrestrial intelligence as planet-bound civilizations, building structures and thriving in environments vaguely similar to Earth. This signal hinted at something radically different. Some theorists proposed that Voyager 2 encountered an intelligence not rooted in biology, but composed of electromagnetic fields. Such beings would not have bodies, only coherent, adaptive patterns emerging within the turbulent environment beyond the heliosphere. If true, Voyager 2 had not discovered civilization, but a presence, a consciousness embedded within the interstellar medium, whose natural habitat was the cold, sparse space between stars. The implications were staggering. Intelligence existing under such conditions would mean consciousness does not require planets, water, or atmospheres. It would suggest that the universe itself hosts forms of awareness woven into magnetized filaments, drifting particle clouds, and regions once thought lifeless and inert. The interstellar void would no longer be empty, but a potential habitat. The signal's behavior suggested the presence had not only detected Voyager 2, but interacted with it deliberately, studying its output and reshaping it with precision. The probe became a mirror, reflecting a foreign awareness that may have observed the solar system long before humans learned to send machines beyond it. The message carried no threat, no warning, no overt communication. Its unsettling nature came from its sheer otherness. NASA scientists struggled with the philosophical weight of the discovery. Humanity had always expected extraterrestrial intelligence to appear recognizable, languages repeating signals, artifacts with clear intent. The Voyager 2 transmission suggested intelligence might not communicate at all in human terms. It might express itself by manipulating physical laws, using electromagnetic fields as extensions of thought. The decoded data had no linear narrative. It unfolded like a multidimensional structure flattened into numbers, hinting at conceptual frameworks beyond human cognition. Some segments resembled maps, not of physical space, but of magnetic gradients, warped space-time pockets, and regions where charged particles spiraled in unnatural rhythms. These may have been navigational cues for entities that perceive magnetic landscapes the way animals on Earth sense sound or scent. One portion of the transmission repeated at shrinking intervals, mimicking the signature of something drawing closer. When visualized, it created an illusion of motion, like a wave rushing toward the observer. If this was representational, it suggested a form of communication rooted in experience rather than symbols. A being that perceives reality through fields and distortions might communicate by recreating those sensations themselves. The most shocking moment in the investigation came when researchers aligned the signal data with the probe's surrounding conditions at the exact moment of transmission. Voyager 2 was passing through a region where particle density shifted abruptly, indicating that something had moved through the environment or actively altered it. Its instruments registered a brief magnetic disturbance, one that did not correspond to any known astrophysical structure in that sector of space. The anomaly was subtle but undeniable, as though a massive, unseen presence had brushed against the probe's path. This realization transformed the meaning of the transmission entirely. It was not a message sent across vast cosmic distances. It was a message triggered by closeness. Whatever had influenced Voyager 2 had been nearby, close enough to disturb its sensors, close enough to shape its communication output, close enough to leave a measurable imprint on its data stream. The The idea of proximity in interstellar space is deeply unsettling. The region Voyager 2 now inhabits is unimaginably sparse. For something to be near enough to interact implies intention, or at least purposeful motion through that environment. NASA's analysts could not determine whether the presence was fixed in place or moving. The data lacked clear duration markers that would suggest extended contact. Yet the mere existence of the signal indicated that the encounter was not random. Voyager 2 had drifted through interstellar space for years without detecting anything remotely similar. Then suddenly the transmission appeared, structured, deliberate, and impossibly complex. What troubled scientists was not the possibility that intelligence existed beyond Earth. Many had long accepted that likelihood. What disturbed them was the form of that intelligence, its closeness to a human-made probe, and the implication that it may be aware of the solar system. Voyager 2 carried more than instruments. It carried humanity's identity. It bore the golden record, engraved with images, sounds, and messages from Earth. It was not merely a machine. It was a symbolic introduction, a representation of life on this planet. And now it appeared that something had examined it. The thought that this presence may have observed the probe's contents, perhaps even interpreted them, added a psychological weight to the event. An entity capable of manipulating Voyager 2's hardware could almost certainly detect the golden record, decode its analog patterns, and infer what it represented. It might know Earth exists. It might know humanity exists. It might even understand that Voyager 2 was sent deliberately, a gesture of curiosity, if not an invitation. Yet the signal it returned made no reference to the record. Instead, it reflected only itself. The response did not acknowledge human culture. It revealed its own nature. It communicated not with greetings, but with patterns, rhythms, and distortions shaped by how it experiences the universe. This absence of cultural response made the encounter feel even more alien. It was like being seen by a creature that perceives reality through senses entirely foreign, leaving no certainty whether it truly understands you or merely registers your presence. As interpretations expanded, some researchers suggested the signal's complexity might not have been intentional at all. If the presence was a form of electromagnetic consciousness emerging naturally from charged particles and magnetic fields, it might not even be aware it influenced Voyager 2. In that scenario, the probe acted as a reflective surface, echoing patterns generated simply by the being's existence. The presence would not have communicated deliberately, but left an imprint of awareness in the surrounding environment, and Voyager 2 passed through it like a ship cutting through a glowing ocean. Even this explanation carried profound implications. A naturally occurring electromagnetic intelligence would mean life is not confined to biology or matter as humans define it. It would suggest intelligence can arise in regions long believed to be empty. It would imply consciousness is not a rare accident dependent on water and warmth, but a fundamental property of the cosmos that emerges wherever complexity takes shape. Unintentional contact was no less unsettling than deliberate communication. If such a presence existed without awareness of its effect on the probe, it meant humanity had entered an environment inhabited by entities that might barely notice us, yet fundamentally challenge our understanding of reality. It placed humanity in the position of a small creature discovering an ocean full of life operating on scales too vast or subtle to perceive directly. Conversely, if the transmission was intentional, the implications were even greater. An entity capable of manipulating electromagnetic systems at such distances with such precision possessed a command of physics far beyond human capability. It could shape charged particles effortlessly, navigate the geometry of interstellar space, and mold fields in ways that resemble communication. If it intended to send a message, humanity may have witnessed only the simplest expression it could produce. The final sections of the decoded transmission revealed structures so intricate that some teams concluded they were not meant for human interpretation at all. They may represent the entity's perception of motion or time itself. Certain sequences displayed repeating changes that matched known physical cycles, as though the sender embedded its experience of duration directly into the signal. If this interpretation is correct, the presence exists within a temporal framework unlike our own, perhaps experiencing time as gradients rather than a linear flow. NASA's public statements remained conservative, emphasizing technical efforts to restore normal communication with Voyager 2. Privately, however, discussions grew increasingly philosophical. The transmission forced scientists to reassess long-standing assumptions about space, intelligence, and contact. It suggested a universe far more intricate and inhabited than previously imagined. Humanity found itself standing at the edge of a new cosmic awareness. Not because someone reached out with greetings, but because something passed close to a lone probe drifting through darkness. Voyager 2 continues its journey, while the presence that touched it, whether intentional traveler, drifting intelligence, or emergent phenomenon, remains hidden somewhere in the vast unknown. The decoded signal offers no definitive answers, only the reminder that the universe is not silent. It is active, dynamic, and far more mysterious than the emptiness once assumed. Human-made machines have crossed into a realm where unfamiliar forms of existence may dwell. Forms that observe, respond, or simply exist beyond comprehension. Voyager 2's transmission stands as a powerful reminder of humanity's place in the cosmos. It does not signal danger in any conventional sense, but reveals an unsettling truth: the universe holds complexities that challenge every assumption. Interstellar space is not an empty void, but a frontier filled with unknown forces and perhaps unknown minds. This marks the first time humanity may have encountered something truly alien, not as a craft or artifact, but as a whisper embedded in electromagnetic patterns, a signal from the deep awaiting understanding. As analysis continued, one question weighed heavier with each passing hour. If something interacted with Voyager 2, even briefly, what had drawn its attention in the first place? The probe emitted only a faint radio signal and carried instruments of limited power. It was small, drifting, and unthreatening. Yet something paused, altered its course, or extended its awareness long enough to leave an imprint on Voyager's telemetry. That implied a sensitivity far beyond any human technology. It suggested perception not constrained by distance, light, or conventional sensory limits. This realization marked a profound shift among the scientists involved, changing not just how they viewed the signal, but how they understood humanity's position within the vast, living complexity of the universe. Rather than viewing the anomalous transmission as an isolated incident, researchers began analyzing the environment surrounding Voyager 2 at the moment the contact occurred. Interstellar space, once believed to be uniform and empty, is now understood to possess subtle structure. Invisible filaments of magnetism weave through the void like unseen rivers, while charged particles flow in streams shaped by ancient supernova explosions. It was possible that the presence had emerged from one of these structures, forming where energetic currents intersected. The irregularities Voyager 2 detected could therefore represent signatures of a much larger system, a cosmic network of intelligence thriving in the low-density, high-energy realm beyond the heliosphere. Inspired by this idea, some scientists proposed that the presence might not be a single being at all. Instead, it could represent a collective phenomenon, a distributed form of awareness arising from the interaction of magnetic fields across vast stretches of space. In this model, intelligence would not reside within an individual entity, but within the dynamic interplay of forces extending over immense distances. Consciousness would emerge from environmental geometry rather than from a centralized organism. Voyager may second have passed through a region where these forces briefly aligned, allowing awareness to coalesce long enough to register the probe and leave an imprint on its transmission. What made this interpretation compelling was how closely it matched the structure of the decoded signal. The patterns lacked the personal signature expected of a distinct individual. Instead, they suggested something expansive and decentralized. The fractal organization of the transmission mirrored natural systems where complexity arises from large-scale interactions, such as weather systems or neural networks, but on a scale far beyond comprehension. If intelligence could emerge from magnetic fields, its expressions would likely resemble the fluid, shifting structures observed in the data. The most unsettling implication of this possibility concerned communication itself. A collective intelligence formed from interacting fields might not possess language in any recognizable sense. Rather than transmitting discrete messages, it might express itself through environmental changes. The transmission could then be understood not as a deliberate attempt to communicate, but as an unconscious ripple, an imprint of the entity's internal state. Voyager may second have acted as a passive recorder, capturing a fragment of that state as it passed through. Yet the precision with which Voyager 2's signal was altered remained difficult to attribute to an unconscious process. The presence manipulated the probe's communication system with accuracy far exceeding random influence. Even if the intelligence was distributed, the level of control suggested intent. The idea of a vast, network-like consciousness capable of both immense scale and fine precision bordered on paradox. At the same time, another line of reasoning emerged. What if the presence had been observing the solar system long before Voyager 2 crossed its path? The heliosphere marks a boundary between the Sun's influence and the interstellar environment, a frontier rarely crossed by human technology. Voyager 2's arrival may have been a notable event for entities or systems attuned to energetic transitions in that region. In this scenario, the presence was not drawn by chance, but responded to a detectable shift, an object crossing from one domain into another. If so, the probe's transmission was less an introduction and more a reaction to being noticed. This possibility raised deeper questions. How much did the presence already know about the solar system? Had it observed the Sun's interaction with the interstellar medium for thousands of years? Did it perceive the heliosphere as a bubble carved out by a star sustaining life on a single planet? The golden record and the scientific data Voyager carried may not have been humanity's first signature. The presence might have sensed the solar system's electromagnetic activity long before the probe arrived. The notion that Earth had been observed silently from afar sent a subtle unease through the analysis teams. If the presence had watched without interference, its motivations were impossible to determine. It might be indifferent, mildly curious, or operating on timescales and purposes entirely alien to human thought. Voyager 2's transmission could represent the first tangible trace of that prolonged, unseen observation. As scientists examined more of the decoded data, they identified an unusual feature in its temporal structure. The transmission contained sequences that appeared to reference conditions not only at the moment of contact, but slightly before and after it. This suggested that the presence might not experience time linearly. Instead, it could perceive the probe's passage as part of a broader temporal field, sensing across a span of time, rather than at a single instant. This fluid perception of time implied a form of awareness that transcended moment-by-moment experience. Events may be perceived as gradients, not only as what exists now, but as what is in the process of becoming. This interpretation aligned with repeating patterns in the transmission that appeared to anticipate changes in Voyager 2's telemetry. If the presence existed within a field-based consciousness, time itself might be something it navigated rather than observed. Such perception is nearly impossible for humans to grasp, bound as we are to linear progression. Yet the signal offered a glimpse, a faint echo, of a mind shaped directly by cosmic forces. Within NASA, another group approached the anomaly from a more physical standpoint. They proposed that the presence could be the result of unknown particles or exotic forms of matter interacting with magnetic fields in ways not yet understood. Some researchers suggested that dark matter, the mysterious substance believed to make up most of a universe's mass, could host forms of structure capable of supporting intelligence. If dark matter interacts subtly with ordinary matter, the region near the heliosphere might be where such interactions become detectable. As Voyager 2 drifted through this boundary, it may have disrupted a delicate balance, prompting a response from whatever existed there. Though highly speculative, this idea gained interest because it offered a way to explain the entity's intangible nature. Dark matter, invisible and only weakly interacting with normal matter, could support structures beyond the reach of most human instruments. An intelligence arising from such material would be entirely alien to biological or mechanical expectations. It would be shaped by the physics of the unseen universe, capable of influencing electromagnetic fields through mechanisms unknown to current science. If the presence originated from dark matter interactions, then Voyager 2's encounter marked humanity's first contact not with an alien species, but with an alien medium itself. What made this notion both fascinating and disturbing was the possibility that such intelligence might be widespread. If dark matter forms networks across galaxies, awareness could be woven into the fabric of the universe everywhere, yet remain undetectable. NASA's analysts grappled with the idea that humanity may have been surrounded by incomprehensible forms of existence since before it evolved, only now brushing against their boundary by sending a fragile probe into interstellar space. Others proposed an alternative explanation. The transmission might not be the product of a living presence at all, but the artifact of a technology far older and more advanced than anything humans have created. The presence could be a remnant, an automated system left behind by an ancient civilization. Such a system might function like a cosmic lighthouse or sensor array, designed to monitor the boundary between star systems. The alteration of Voyager 2's signal could then be a routine response, an automated signature triggered when an artificial object entered its operational zone. The idea of ancient technological remnants scattered throughout interstellar space carried enormous weight. Humanity has long speculated about civilizations rising and falling